Latest visuals coming in from Ukraine, where Prime Minister Modi presently is. Take a look at this visual. This is paying tribute at the Mahatma Gandhi statue in Kyiv. This is, remember, at a time of message of peace, and as Prime Minister Modi has maintained, not an era for war. I want to give you a little background about this statue. This bronze statue of Mahatma Gandhi was inaugurated in Ukraine on Gandhi Jayanti a few years ago, and because Gandhi's birth anniversary is celebrated as the International Day of Non-Violence. And what opportune moment than this to be able to put out that message of peace rather than the war that is currently going on. So it was in 2020, in fact, when this statue was inaugurated. I want to go across to Gaurav Sawant, who is in Kyiv, reporting the latest. Gaurav, so somber moment there, but also a tribute necessary, and at a time of war for the message of peace. Gaurav.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, the apostle of peace. You know what it says there? Mahatma Gandhi fought a non-violent war against British colonialism, and he used truth and non-violence as his weapons in this war against colonial powers. Ukrainian friends tell me they too are fighting a war, and in this war, they too want to see whether the message of Mahatma Gandhi works in today's day and age. Clearly, truth, they say, is on their side, but non-violence against Russian aggression is clearly not a weapon of choice. But the message that Prime Minister Narendra Modi brings to Ukraine as he interacts with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky right now is that message of dialogue and diplomacy in an environment where guns and bullets are not heard. So whether that dialogue works, whether that track of peace works, remains extremely significant, especially at a time, Pooja, when Ukrainian forces just in the last fortnight have taken over almost 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory. This makes the peace process all the more difficult, but this is where this task becomes, one, very challenging, but if successful, very rewarding.
And of course, there is a certain Gujarat connect here as well. Born in Porbandar in Gujarat in 1869, Mahatma Gandhi sent out a message of peace across the world. And Prime Minister Modi there ensuring that at a time of war, paying tribute. And this is, remember, that, listen to this. Let's listen in to the diaspora chanting for Prime Minister Modi. This is in Kyiv, where he's presently interacting with the diaspora, and then we'll go ahead to meet President Zelensky too.
Now he's walking to the statue of Mahatma Gandhi.
So amid heightened security, and those from the Indian diaspora trying to catch a glimpse of Prime Minister Modi. Remember, the first Prime Minister in 30 years and during the war to ensure that this visit comes in.
The statue of Mahatma
Gandhi. So becoming the first Indian Prime Minister to set foot in Ukraine in 30 years since the two countries established diplomatic ties in 1992. That's why it's a historic visit as well, and at a time when clearly there is an ongoing war. Remember, all airports in Ukraine have been closed for now. This is because there has to be heightened security as Indian Prime Minister visits, paying tribute with the flowers to Mahatma Gandhi, whose statue, the bronze statue, that was inaugurated in 2020. But this is also reflective, remember, to have the statue in Ukraine. Mahatma Gandhi, of course, has become an international figure, but it is also representative of the acknowledgement of the Indian diaspora that has been a positive contributor in Ukraine, whether as students in medical fraternity or as business, as a part of assimilating in the Ukrainian society. Indian diaspora has been highly acknowledged for their efforts in Ukraine. So Prime Minister Modi also ensuring that those who had decided to wait for him at the Gandhi statue at the Botanical Garden, that there would be a slight meet and greet also with them.
Prime Minister Modi is already coming to the top, and now he's walking to the statue of Mahatma Gandhi.
Prime Minister Modi, remember, had recently also met at the G7 summit with Volodymyr Zelensky. So the meetings have consistently been happening. But at a time like this, when Russia has been our historical, cultural friend and ally, and of course in defense and other trade issues, but also to send out a message that Ukraine is also our friend. Gaurav, so thereby I come to you now. Chants of Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and a visit to the Gandhi statue. All of this is reflective of the Indian diaspora, its contribution that is also acknowledged in Ukraine, isn't it?
The Indian diaspora is actually the living bridge between India and Ukraine. Before the war started in Ukraine in 2022, there were about 18,000 Indian medical students and another 5,000 Indian businessmen and industrialists who were living and working here. There are some who've been living here from the Soviet era, from the mid-1980s to early 1990s. There are some, who are pharma giants. There are some who are big industrialists, others in the hotel industry, and they've done extremely well for themselves, earning not millions, but in some instances billions in this country. And they've also contributed to the war effort extensively. Those Indians who are Ukrainian citizens now, their children, their sons and daughters are a part of the war fighting effort. Otherwise, those who are Indian passport holders, a lot of them have contributed large sums of money, millions of dollars in Ukraine's war effort. They've made efforts to get hold of, if they can, weapons and systems for Ukraine, if they can, food grain, medicines, war-like stores, anything that may be required, and fighting shoulder to shoulder with the Ukrainians. So you're absolutely right. The Indians in Ukraine play a very critical role. The Ukrainians, incidentally, and I must tell you this before we talk about Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting President Zelensky, that meeting that is taking place in just about a couple of minutes from now, that very important meeting is about to begin. I must tell you that the Ukrainians have immense love for India, a large number of them. They are learning Indian culture, they're learning Indian dance, they're learning Indian history. There are several Indologists here, those who started reading about India in the 1970s and 80s and are big authorities on India in today's day and age. Some of them have interacted with Prime Minister Narendra Modi already, and some hope to interact with him in times to come. But if we were to come to the nuts and bolts of this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he reached here, he took this special train from Poland. It took him about 8.5 hours to come here. Why did he have to take a train? Because since the 20th of February 2022, a no-fly zone has been declared all over Ukraine. Any flying object is shot down either by the Russian forces or by the Ukrainian forces. So any head of state, any head of government who comes into Ukraine actually takes the train route. In every instance in the past, and this is very significant, in every instance in the past, the visit of a head of state and government is kept completely secret, top secret, till the time they've reached back Poland. They've reached Poland safely once again, and only then are images released. But this time, the difference was the Prime Minister's visit was announced in advance, point one. Point two, something that gives authorities in Ukraine a virtual nightmare. It's virtually live. Of course, there is some delay. We don't give out exact time of the Prime Minister's meeting or going to any place A or B. But Ukraine says it's an active war zone. Security of a head of government is extremely important. And that is why everything comes out with a delay of a couple of hours. But let's begin with the kind of reception that Prime Minister Narendra Modi got when he reached here in Ukraine, in Kiev, after that 8-hour-long train journey. Listen in.
Modi, 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 Modi.